In part 1 of this series on gamification, I roughly summarized the 8 core drives of the Actalysis framework. For each core drive, I gave a video game I was addicted to as a kid that particularly targeted that core drive. In part 2 of this series, I analyzed the differences between games and real life. Then I discussed how we could make our real lives more like a game to make ourselves want to do hard things. In this part 3, the final part of this series, I will explain how I made my life into a game by combining the action items in Yu-Kai Chou's article, 10,000 Hours of Play, with the most important insights from part 1 and 2 of the series, turning my life into a game. Am I a hero or an NPC? The first step was asking myself if I am a hero or an NPC. In gamer terms, NPC stands for non-player character. NPC game interactions are pretty bare bones. Their movements and sentences are pre-coded, meaning there isn't a wide variation of things they can say or do. Unfortunately, NPCs exist in the real world as well. They're the people in life who never change, always responding to when they will start pursuing their hopes and dreams with someday, someday. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being an MC. Okay, maybe I am, though I wouldn't want to be one. But if you want to make your life a game, you have to be the hero. The hero of an RPG is never stagnant. The hero must travel to new places, obtain new abilities, slay monsters, form alliances, complete quests, and perhaps even save the world. Often at the same time, the hero is on a journey of self-discovery to accomplish an epic mission. I knew I needed to be the hero. I've been an NPC for most of my life. From ages 8 until 17, I was the typical video game addicted teenager. I was hungry for change. My game. To create my game, I had to go through Chou's 6-part checklist. Pick your game, mission, pick your attributes, talents, pick your role, identity, pick your skills, abilities, define your alliance network, and choose your quests, achievements. The first step was to pick my game. There are many types of games: RPGs, fighting games, puzzle games, first-person shooters, platformers, racing, party games, etc. In real life, the game is the goal of existence, the reason for being. It took me a long time to come up with my answer, but after some careful thought, I finally did. My game was to change people's relationships with information through online and in-person influence, and my duties as a professor of psychology. Over the past year and a half, I've been creating content on my YouTube channel, blogging website, writing an email newsletter called Aiden's Infinite Play, and hosting a podcast called Personal Knowledge Management with Aiden Helfon. Most of my content revolves around helping people remodel their information diet. I'm passionate about this subject because I've remodeled my information diet from one predominantly of video games to a rich array of academic nonfiction, literature, fiction, sci-fi, fantasy, manga, and more. I hope to help others do the same by giving reading tips, book summaries, and helping them forge their own personal knowledge management systems. Part 2, pick my attributes. Second step was to pick my attributes. In games, many characters are endowed with incredible abilities from the get-go. Think Mario from Super Mario Bros. He can withstand an astonishing beating. He can absorb various power-ups to give him temporary boosts. He can say wahoo like an absolute animal, and quite possibly the most cool power-up, he can look stylish in a plumber costume. In the game of life, people are also endowed with innate talents. When I pondered my own talents, I came up with 1 main talent and 3 lesser ones. My main talent is my optimism. I like to follow a philosophy of rational optimism. In addition, I have a high emotional stability. A year and a half of meditation and exploration into Stoic and Buddhist philosophy has made my mood way more consistent. Generally, I'm an 8 out of 10 on the happiness scale every day. I also love creativity. I love taking seemingly unrelated types of information and combining them to form exciting and insightful connections. I see this exemplified in my content creation and writing habits. And finally, I have a love for interpersonal conversation. I usually spend 2 hours or so conversing with people daily and genuinely love hearing about other people's passions. The third step was to pick my role. In RPG games, people start by picking a role for themselves. For example, in D&D, you create your character by choosing your specific race and class. This largely determines how you play the game. Traditionally, in the game of life, your role is your occupation, like professor, artist, accountant, etc. But Chou explains it doesn't have to fit into a preconceived occupation. It can also be a mix of things you create yourself. I came up with 3 main roles. writer, content creator, and professor. The next step was to craft the day in which these roles could be fulfilled. As discussed in part 2 of this series, my typical calendar items each day include these 4 things every time. Run in the morning, an hour and a half block of writing, a gym workout, and an hour and a half block of reading at night. By putting these things on my calendar before anything else, I make sure no bull crap takes them over. I fill in my white space with social interaction and other hobbies or projects, as well as classwork. The 4th step was to pick my skills. In many games, your character progresses by leveling up their skills. While there isn't a visible skill leveling system in real life, you can still think of your skills as things you can actively build and learn. I defined 3 main skills I'm proficient in right now: personal knowledge management, writing, and time/energy management. But these are only skills I'm proficient in right now. If I want to progress in my chosen game, helping others change their relationship with information, I need to build skills I don't have. Most notably, I need to learn personal branding, social media, and analytics. In the modern age, it's not enough to only create content. You have to learn to market content as well. As of writing, I've actually completed many of my quests to achieve these aims. I created a logo for my brand, learned how the YouTube analytics interface works, and installed Google Analytics on my website. In addition, if I want to become a professor, a notoriously competitive job, I need to build my teaching and research skills by becoming a teaching assistant, research assistant, and developing an academic workflow inside of Obsidian. Defining these skills is helping motivate me to do tasks I don't want to do. Before doing a task, I assess the skills that task is building. For example, sometimes I don't want to sit down and write an essay for college, but if I focus on the fact that writing the essay helps me build my writing skills for my creative and research endeavors, I can motivate myself to do it nonetheless, as then it moves me forward in multiple of my goals. Skills transcend the activities you're building them in. The 5th step was to define my alliance. In games, your alliance is the NPCs or other players who work with you to progress. In real life, your alliance is your network, family, friends, coworkers, and acquaintances. As of writing, my alliance is made up of my friends and family, as well as the Part-Time YouTuber Academy community and the Building a Second Brain community. I joined these communities during my first year at Cornell University. But if I want to progress in my game, I'll need more people to join this alliance. Other content creators, team members, writers, professors, and researchers. Because of this, I'm trying to strengthen relationships with those already in my alliance and reach out to potential new alliance members through the internet. I have a list of people I want to DM I created from my podcast, email newsletter, and YouTube subscriptions. Every week, I message one of these people with a question, hoping to build a rapport. Not every single one responds, but over months and years, I'm guaranteed to build some relationships. In addition, I try and attend professor office hours and build relationships with those inside of my study. I'm looking for a potential advisor for my research. The 6th and last step was to choose my quests. In games, quests are small, single adventures you complete to build your skills, progress in the story, or get closer to winning. In real life, quests are projects and their associated tasks which progress you inside of your game. Quests can be recurring or one-time. As of writing, I have a few recurring quests and one-time quests I'm working on right now. I try and upload a YouTube video, write an article, and newsletter every week, as well as a podcast every other week. Over the summer, I also recently finished a one-time quest of traveling to London, Sweden, and the Netherlands. In RPGs especially, each quest in a game makes you stronger by leveling you up and giving you access to new cool areas and rewards. Similarly, in real life, each quest I complete makes me stronger by advancing my skills and building my alliance. As of recording, some of the next quests I would like to start are joining a research lab and saving up enough money to participate in the next cohort of Linking Your Thinking. So how does this use everything that we've learned? Literally creating a game out of your life is the highest level of gamification you can get to. If done effectively, it implements everything we've discussed over the last 2 parts of this series. Firstly, it takes advantage of the Octalysis framework discussed in part 1. Let's briefly discuss how. Core Drive 1, Epic Meaning and Calling. My calling is to take my transformation from video game addiction to a genuine love and curiosity for learning as a story to promote the same change in those that consume my content, whether it be through my YouTube channel, website, newsletter, podcast, or conversations. This gives epic meaning to my actions. Core Drive 2, development and accomplishment. I defined quests I need to complete, skills I need to attain, and relationships I want to add or strengthen to my alliance. This gives each day meaning by defining things I can strive towards in each of them. Core Drive 3, empowerment of creativity and feedback. As a writer, content creator, and aspiring professor, I get to unleash my creativity every day. Right now, I'm in the privileged position where I can follow my research interests. In addition, I can get feedback for my work from analytics and the reactions of those that consume my content. Core Drive 4, ownership and possession. I defined my own game. Nobody else has the same roles, talents, skills, alliance, and quests. This makes it feel more personal and motivating to play. Core Drive 5, social influence and relatedness. I defined my current alliance and the people I would like to try and add to it. This alliance keeps me accountable and inspired and opens me up to opportunities I didn't even know existed. Core Drive 6, scarcity and impatience. Now that I know I want to help people through writing, content creation, and professorship, I'm realizing how little time there is each day to pursue these ambitions. If I want to achieve everything I want in my game, I have to be purposeful with my time. Core Drive 7, unpredictability and curiosity. My roles allow me to delve into my curiosity. As a writer, content creator, and researcher, I have the privilege of learning new things daily. This keeps each day interesting as I delve into novel topics and research deeper into old ones. Core Drive 8, loss and avoidance. My biggest fear is returning to my old video game addicted self. I feel the best I ever have right now. While I can't guarantee the game I'm playing will work out, I'm driven out of wanting to avoid my old life and help others avoid the life I lived as well. Remember the right brain and left brain core drives and the white hat and black hat core drives? Right brain core drives are driven by intrinsic motivation, and white hat core drives make you feel in control and powerful. When defining my game, I tried to emphasize core drives that fell in the right brain and white hat sections of the Octalysis framework, and it seems to be working. I don't have many followers or students right now, yet I still wake up every day excited to write, research, and create more content because of my intrinsic love for it in itself. I see each day as an opportunity to exercise virtue and learn new things. I understand the effect of great teaching on someone's motivation to learn and want to give others the same feeling. So what if I'm not the biggest YouTuber around? I'm excited, driven, and passionate about what I'm doing every single day. Isn't that enough? Using the differences between games and real life. This process also takes into account the differences between games and real life we discussed during part 2. As said before, life is now more epic. My goal isn't only to live, but to try and change millions of people's relationship with information through writing and content creation and teaching others the subject I'm fascinated by, psychology. Despite my small size, I have already had people tell me how my content has changed their life, and it is an indescribable feeling. Life's rules are now more clear. Every day isn't some ambiguous hodgepodge of figuring out what to do with my time. Instead, I've defined quests and tasks I want to make progress on alongside a rough routine I have honed and revised over time. This creates progression and momentum. Every article I write, every class I teach, every video I create, and every book I complete act to further me on my quests and tasks. My past work becomes what Tiago Forte calls intermediate packets and form the building blocks for future projects, creating a knowledge compounding effect. This creates a satisfying gameplay loop. My days are a delightful mix of exercise, learning, socializing, and creating. It's wonderful. Better yet, I participate in this game voluntarily. Because I have the privilege and ability to choose many of the things I'm doing in my life, I feel in control. I have distanced myself from biological and social controls and learned to define myself for what I want out of life. I have the freedom to follow my curiosities and build new passions. Most importantly, through this entire gamification process, I've made sure not to be a perfectionist by adopting a gameful mindset. Perfectionism keeps you from your hopes and dreams. It's better to fail your way to success than to never try at all. Of course, I'm positive as I change, my game will change with me. But that's not only okay, but expected. I'm 19 years old. The thing that truly matters is I continue to do actions that I believe follow my central values through helping others. For anyone who's made it this far in the series, I thank you. You have connected with me on a deep level. You know my story, my transformation from a video game addicted kid to somebody who wants to change others' relationship with information. But now it's your turn. I recommend you buy Actionable Gamification for yourself and read Yu-Kai Chou's 10,000 hours of play in the description below. Go out and create the best game for you. As always, have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.